for today. And our third segment is going to be Mitch Keller and the extension he got from the Pittsburgh Pirates. So, Mitch Keller kind of broke out last year. Not kind of the past 2 years, really, actually. He kind of showed he was going to be big part of the Pirates' future, and the Pirates are rewarding him with a big contract extension. So we're going to talk about it. But first, I do have to mentioned yesterday that I had 2 entire segments planned out to extension candidates, and for the Pirates, I mentioned O'Neal Cruz instead of Mitch Keller. So I'm 0 for 1. Not a great start, but it's a crapshoot. So what are you gonna do about it? I wish I would have put Keller, but it would have been nice to confirm I know what I'm talking about. But I hope I still know what I'm talking about. So yeah. So looking at Mitch Keller last year, he had a 4.08 ERA, a 3.84 FIP, and a 105 ERA plus. That is from the past 2 years combined, not last year, so that's my fault. Those aren't pop out of the screen numbers. Those aren't numbers that scream ace or Cy Young winner, but they show progress. They show something to build upon for Mitch Keller, and I think that's why they gave him the extension, because they see something. They know he can be better than he was and will be a lot better in the future. When you're looking a little bit deeper, you see his K per 9. It went way up. His walk per 9. It went way down. So I think that's good, a positive showing of what he can do, of what he can do in the future, and what's going to happen with that. So I think that's a main reason why the Pirates gave him that extension, because they know he's going to be a big part of that future. They want to get him locked down. They want to get him locked up, make him a big part of the pitching staff, see him only get better and better. Pirates want to compete in the next few years, which I think they can. So I think that this is a good step. I think any small market team extending their young stars is a good idea. We could see this more in the future with them. Maybe a guy like Henry Davis, O'Neal Cruz, who I mentioned yesterday, Andy Rodriguez when he comes back from injury. Even Paul Skeens, you could extend him right now if you wanted to. You could definitely look for more extensions in Pittsburgh if you want to look at that. But I like the Keller extension, and I like the fact that the Pirates weren't afraid to do it, and I like that they got it done. Got him locked up, and made him a big part of their future. So next, we're just going to show what the contract is and talk about it a little bit. So I talked about the extension, but what are the actual numbers of it? So the numbers of the extension are 5 years, $77 million. It covers 2 arbitration years at $15 million, which is the AAV, and then 3 years of free agency as well. So Keller is getting a major bump up in arbitration for the next 2 years, because I don't think he would be getting $15 million. But he also gets maybe a little less than he would have gotten in free agency with the $15 million, because assuming he progressed in the right way throughout these years, probably would have gone maybe $20 to $25 million. But again, that's projecting in the future, a few years ahead, and for a hypothetical, that's not going to happen anymore. So it's not really worth talking about. So you see young players like this. What they get is the money up front now. They get it, they don't have to worry about what's going to happen in the future if they get injured or regress, something like that. So, they get their money taken care of. They can just focus on baseball, and the Pirates now get to focus on just baseball with Keller. They don't have to worry about locking him up maybe thinking about trading him next offseason if he doesn't want to sign an extension, because they got it done now. I think it's nice for the Pirates organization that one of their young players is showing loyalty by, taking maybe less money than he would have gotten on the free agent market to get an extension now, be a part of that core and how they progress in the future, and what that pitching staff is going to look like in the next few years. So I think that's good to see if you're a Pirates fan, and something nice to watch. Just interrupting this a tiny bit. Yuki Matsui is in the game for the Padres for the first time in his MLB career, so that's something nice to watch and look at. He got his 2 first batters out, including Gavin Lux, so good sign for the Padres, and that's something interesting to watch as well. Matsui with the Padres and how he's going to perform. So, yeah. Um, so, looking at the Pirates and just how their future looks, I think it's a very bright future. As I mentioned, I really like that core. You have, a guy like Mitch Keller in the rotation, who I think is going to be I think he is a star. He's going to be a future star. He's just going to keep getting better, and I'm glad the Pirates locked him up. I think more young teams, more middle of the market franchises should do this. We're seeing it as a trend. I mean, I made a whole segment on it yesterday, so we're obviously seeing it as a trend. And I think it made a lot of sense for both the player and the team to do it. And I'm glad that it got done. I'm glad that he's showing loyalty. I'm glad that the Pirates are making this an organization now where players want to play. I think there, even though it is a smaller market, I think there are a lot of benefits for the Pirates. I mean, they have a beautiful ballpark. I've been to 23 ballparks myself, and I absolutely love the Pirates. It's definitely in my top three, up there with the ones I love, like San Diego, like Atlanta. So it's a beautiful ballpark, and I think players know that. And you see a lot of free agency guys who come in for free agency. That's one of the big things they mentioned about how beautiful the ballpark is. So you have that going for you. You play in a relatively easy division right now with with the teams, the Cubs, the Brewers, Reds. It's going to be better in the future, but as of right now, and maybe the next 2 years or so, it's a little bit easy. So I think you have that going for you. And just looking at this Pirates team right now, I don't have them winning the division. I don't have them making the playoffs. I don't have them finishing in the top two of the division or even the top three. But they're still a good team. And I think they're a good, hungry team that maybe won't be that great right now, but definitely is going to be very good in the future. You look at what they've added. They added first Martin Perez and Marco Gonzalez. They're fine players, nothing to write home about, but they're good veteran guys who fill in innings for a young Pirates team that desperately just needs innings. So I think it was a good trade and good signings for them. Again, no one that really is a superstar or gets you straight into a contender status, but they're nice bridge arms for this bridge season to next year when you're probably going to try to be more competitive. So I like those moves for the Pirates. Just, again, nice veteran innings eater, something young teams always need. And I like the process of doing it. Their young core, their hitting is very, very good. You have two really good young hitting catchers. You have Henry Davis, who was the first overall pick, of course. He was a great player. In college, obviously, he was first overall pick. He's going to be a great player. His hitting tool is very, very good. The only question mark you have about him is how is he going to stay? How is he going to be staying a catcher for the long term? Which is a question you have about every young catcher. So I don't think it's special to Henry. So I think he's someone to watch for the Pirates' future and what's going to happen with him. So definitely someone to market the Pirates' future around and get someone to build around as well. You signed Rowdy Tellez in the offseason. I think it was a good move. Getting a younger first baseman in there, maybe he can break out in Pittsburgh. And if not, just a nice signing. I think he hits righties really well. I think he's a good first baseman. He's fine. I think it's a good move for this team. Again, you signed Aroldis Chapman, which is a nice move for the back of the bullpen. Adding him in with guys like a guy like David Bednar, Colin Holderman. They have a nice bullpen now. If the pitching the starting pitching can perform well, it'll be more of a story. But I think it was still a good move, and still I'm so glad that the Pirates are trying to win and trying to compete. You have guys like Nick Gonzalez, like Liover Peguero, who definitely slot in for the future of the team and the organization and are guys to build around. I think they're definitely players to watch if you're a Pirates fan, if you're a baseball fan. You want to see the Pirates' future. So, yeah, good players to build around, have a nice core with. So, yeah, definitely with that. Definitely good for Pirates fans if you are one. And just good for baseball. We always want to see young teams put it all together. Young teams, trying to compete, trying to win, being hungry, and I think the Pirates are. Again, I think this division is very, very winnable. There's no real standout. I currently have the Reds winning, but if someone else has the Cubs or even the Brewers winning, I'm not going to be like, that's a ludicrous take and you should be disgusted with yourself. You don't know baseball. I'm not going to say that because I wouldn't say that anyways. But it's not. There's no real bad take of who you think can win this division. You had the Cubs, who need to make another big move to maybe break themselves away from the pack, maybe signing a guy like Matt Chapman, Jordan Montgomery, Blake Snell, even bringing back Cody Bellinger, even though that wouldn't make the most sense in my opinion. You can do that. You have the Brewers, who just brought back Brandon Woodruff. Not going to be a factor for this season, but for the future it will be. You signed Rhys Hoskins, which is a nice signing to bolster that lineup, which has desperately needed help for years. But still, they don't have an ace. Right now, their ace is Freddie Peralta with the trade of Burns and Woodruff's injury. You have the Reds, who are a good team, I think, but they still have some pitching worries. You have Graham Ashcraft, you have Nick Lodolo, you have Hunter Green, Frankie Montas you brought in, Nick Martinez, all good players. But there are some question marks with a few of them, and a good amount of them, like injury with Montas, how Nick Martinez is going to be being a starter again. Can Graham Ashcraft and Hunter Green put it all together to be really good pitchers? I think they can be, but that's why I have them winning the division. But again, there's no runaway favorite for the Central right now. And if the Pirates defy expectations or put it all together, I could see them winning that division. I think Mitch Keller signing an extension definitely helps with that. Helps get consistency with this team. You know who's going to be there for the future. You know who to build around. You know who to watch. And I'm very happy, again, that young teams and mid-markets are finally extending their young guys so they don't walk. It's better for the game, and it's better for the teams and the fan bases as well. So I'm happy. I'm happy for it. Just to recap a little bit, we talked about just all about Mitch Keller's extension, how I went 0 for 1 already in yesterday's segment, so that was not great, but still happy news is happening. We have a lot of news this episode, so I'm very excited about that. The contracts covers 2 arbitration years, of course, 3 free agency years. I think it was a good contract for both him and the team. And the Pirates, they could win the Central if everything goes correct, but I don't have them winning it right now. But the Central's a pretty easy division, so I don't think there's a runaway, like I've said. And I think if everything goes right for them, we could see the Buccos hosting a home playoff game, which I think would be electric, considering what we saw the last time they hosted a home playoff game with Johnny Cueto and what happened with that. So, that's my third segment, talking about Mitch Keller extension and the Pirates as well. We're going to go to another break here, but then we'll go to our fourth and final segment, which is about news around the league. There are some signings around the league, which I'm going to talk about. Obviously, we know I hinted one before with the Marlins. We know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, you'll hear in the final segment. So, we'll talk about that in the final segment, and we'll go to a break, but then we'll talk about it. So, thanks.